Welp, I didn't think we were gonna be making one of these videos again, but here we are. How many kobolds does it take to beat up a lich? It's a question that maybe 3 people had before the making of this video, and hopefully you'll stick around with us to find out that answer. A couple of rules we've made for this fight. Number 1, since the lich has immunities to a lot of non-magical damage, we had the choice of either nerfing the lich or giving all the kobolds magical weapons so this combat would be feasible. What we decided on is trading out the lich's damage immunities for resistance to all damage. Number 2, the longer the combat goes, we'll be throwing more and more crazy shit at this lich until it is taken down. And number 3, the time of day was suitable for the kobolds to be unaffected by their sunlight sensitivity. A brief announcement before we get to the fight. We now have our own Patreon. If you like what we do and want to go above and beyond supporting us in continuing to make this type of content, click on the link in the description below. Now back to the fight. For the map, it was fitting for the lich to be in defense of a corrupted pyramid, whether it be a source of a powerful ritual or even its phylactery, with a kobold army being deployed to take the lich and his ritual place down. Joined by fellow members of the channel, Marco and Philip, we all took on a collective role of everyone to find the best moves for both parties. The fight started off with both parties rolling initiative. The lich ended up winning initiative and had a clear line of sight towards both of the oncoming kobold platoons and decided to kindly fireball the eastern deployment, racking up 8 kobolds instantly. The western kobolds saw their comrades get turned into gator gumbo and immediately fanned out to spread themselves as far as possible while trying to get closer to the lich. At the end of their turn, they weren't in range for any of the lich's legendary actions, so the lich just regained a 3rd level spell slot with his lair action. On the lich's turn, he casted Mirror Image on himself, conjuring up 3 duplicates and awaited the kobold assault. On the kobold's turn, another deployment of 16 kobolds were sent to their demise, their destiny. The already deployed kobolds got into range to fire 8 more slings at the lich with disadvantage, missing everything due to the lich's Mirror Image. The new East Battalion ran up and fired a volley of 8 attacks, missing everything as well. The lich regenerated a 2nd level spell slot with his lair action and casted Cloud Kill on the eastern deployment of 8 kobolds, engulfing all of them. On the kobold's turn, 2 ballista divisions were deployed, with 1 ballista and 8 kobolds being on either side. The entire eastern kobold division got gassed and the rest of the western division moved up and attacked the lich with their slings, galvanized by Marco's rallying cry.
Let loose the juice, boys!
And missing everything with their shots, but removing the lich's mirror image. Now for the ballista crews. They all moved up, but only the ballistas had enough range to set themselves up and fire away at the lich, making him use the shield spell in order to not get hit. The lich got his 5th level spell slot back with the lair action, used a legendary action to Ray of Frost another kobold, and guess what he did on his turn? Fireball again, atomizing 11 more kobolds and falling back to his pyramid podium. On the kobold's turn, they have called in their air support. What the fuck am I saying? And 10 winged kobolds dropped from the northern rock formation and joined the battle, 30 feet up into the air. The regular kobolds pushed up, and the one who had enough range not to shoot with disadvantage actually hit it for a whopping 2 damage. Oh, this is gonna take a while. The rest of the kobolds shot and missed all of their shots, but prompted the lich to use his reaction to cast shield again. One of the ballistas, however, did hit, managing to deal 8 more damage to the lich. The eastern kobolds didn't have enough range to hit the lich without going into the cloud kill, so we had them make a jump to the middle platforms with a ruling of a DC 10 dexterity check required to get to the other side. Out of all the goblins, 4 more perished in the caverns below, with 2 kobolds and 1 ballista missing their shots. Oh, and by the way, the lich has a +10 to his constitution saving throws, so unless he rolls a 1, he doesn't lose concentration on any of his spells. The Air Force, being armed with the tried and tested weapon of rock, needed to fly directly over the lich in order to make their attacks, so they just got closer to him. The lich then used the legendary action to Ray of Frost a winged kobold and shot it out of the sky and got another 1st level spell slot back with his lair action. On his turn, he simply just moved away from the Air Force and then sent another level 4 fireball to the ballista unit, taking down 4 more kobolds. Hey, listen, you see these bushes that were totally here before? Surprise! The kobolds have been camouflaging their trebuchets this entire time and were waiting to strike.
The kobold commander goes, why the fuck haven't we been using it before?
Along with some more footmen for support. 2 kobolds went up to the lich to stab him with their dagger like proper UK residents, while the others fired their slings for support, hitting a crit for 4 damage total. In that entire ordeal, 2 more goblins fell into the void trying to parkour to get closer to the lich. The Air Force did not manage to hit any rocks over the lich's head, while the trebuchets also were unlucky in their artillery barrage. At the end of their turn, the lich will use a legendary action to cast Disrupt Life, withering away the 3 kobolds within 20 feet of him, gaining back a 4th level spell slot with a lair action. The lich then nuked the trebuchets with an 8th level fireball, turning 6 more kobolds into dust, and moved forward. Then the kobolds decided to fight fire with fire, now sending 10 kobolds accompanied by 3 kobold wizards to combat the Lich. After a collective 3 damage dealt from the infantry and 1 more goblin falling to the void, the wizard's infantry occupied and started manning the trebuchets again. The 3 kobold wizards then sent 3 of their own fireballs at the Lich, with him having to use 2 of his legendary resistances to succeed on the saving throws, taking the first bit of serious damage this combat for 20 points of damage dealt to him, managing to break his concentration on the cloud kill because he rolled a natural 1. The Lich then got 1 more kobold with his Ray of Frost legendary action and regained a spell slot with his lair action. The Lich then cast Dimension Door all the way towards the trebuchets so they cannot target him anymore, with the intent to use a legendary action to take out the crew, along with Power Word killing a kobold wizard on his next turn. 16 footmen and 16 air force entered the round. The air force flew towards the Lich and the rest of the kobolds missed yet again with every single one of their shots. The trebuchet crews got off their siege weapons and surrounded the Lich in order to get pack tactics advantage, hitting him for 7 more shank damage. The mages had to quickly learn the term of acceptable casualties as they fireballed the Lich 3 more times, taking out 9 of their comrades, but dealing 34 more damage to the Lich. The Lich then decided to use his lair action to make the wizard have to succeed on a DC 18 Constitution saving throw or take 15 D6 necrotic damage, and he actually succeeded, taking only 24 damage. Then with a legendary action, withering away 4 more goblins. On his turn, he casted a 9th level fireball on the Eastern Ballista crew, dealing 37 damage to all the wizards and wiping out 10 more goblins. We then remembered the Air Force existed and flew them all towards the Lich. 3 more Ballista battalions joined the fray, pushing out the kobolds that were already in battle further out. At this point, we were all hysterically laughing because the combat was taking so ridiculously long, so forgive us for any mistakes that we make. For narration's sake, some menial things I won't even mention anymore. From all the kobolds, a ballista hit for 5 damage, and the wizards sent 3 collateral damage fireballs in again, dealing 23 damage and taking out 5 more kobolds, along with 1 ballista. At the end of their turn, the Lich used Disrupt Life to eliminate 6 more kobolds and sent another fireball to nuke 2 out of the 3 wizards that were alive, in total taking out 3 more kobolds, both mages, and a ballista, then taking cover behind the ballista that was near him. On the kobolds' turn, they decided to bring out the big guns, the best of the best, rolling up from the southeast flank. It's the M1 Abrams Kobold Arcane Siege Engine. What the fuck am I saying? Piloted by 6 kobolds, they took up position on the slope and fired on the Lich, missing him but dealing 30 damage to his cover on the ballista. In all the chaos, 1 kobold fell to his death trying to jump across a gap. The lone wizard tossed another fireball to the Lich, dealing 11 more damage, leaving the Lich heavily wounded. The Lich then fireballed the remaining wizard and his troops, taking out 4 more kobolds total and 1 ballista, taking cover behind the trebuchets. The kobolds sent out 3 more ballista battalions. A tank missed the Lich hiding behind the trebuchet, dealing 60 damage to his cover instead. All of the other kobolds, except the ballista, which dealt 10 damage, missed, and the air force surrounded the Lich 30 feet in the air to prepare to come and stab and drop rocks on him next round. From all of the shots hitting the Lich's cover, 1 trebuchet was destroyed. The Lich Ray of Frosted and lair action killed 2 ballista kobolds and then sent a fireball to take out nearly all of the air force, shooting 19 more kobolds out of the sky and taking cover behind the remaining trebuchet. On the kobolds' turns, they sent their last ditch effort battalion out, with 32 kobolds being relayed orders which side to deploy to confront the Lich. The tank sent a shot out from the top ropes and rolled a 24 to hit, with the Lich on 5 HP left. Its damage was an 8d10 and they dealt 27 more damage, sending the Lich to Kingdom Come. All of the kobolds then went to work on dismantling the pyramid resting place of the Lich. GG's. All in all, the Lich took down 104 kobolds, while in total 175 of them were deployed. Thank you for bearing with us during this encounter. This was very exciting to do, and we hope that we can make more for you soon. If you stuck out until now, you are a trooper. Until next time, have yourselves a good one.